Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nusafia binti Rashidi. My matrix code numbers is 100590. To me, learning means gaining new knowledge or skills by studying, practicing, or experiencing something. It's not just about memorizing facts. It's about understanding and being able to use what we have learned. Learning is closely connected to cognition, memory, and thinking. Cognition helps us process information, memory lets us store and remember it, and thinking allows us to solve problems and make decisions. All these work together when we learn something new. Learning is not just about reading or listening. It involves many mental processes. First, we need attention to focus on what is important. For example, when I study, I turn off notifications so I don't get distracted. Then, memory helps us store the information. I use short-term memory to keep ideas in mind and long-term memory to remember them for exams. Thinking helps me understand what I study. It allows me to ask questions, compare ideas, and solve problems. These three, attention, memory, and thinking, work together so I can learn better and apply what I know. KMK 2273 taught me many useful concepts about how we learn. The first one is metacognition, which means being aware of my own learning process. Now, before I start studying, I make a plan, check my understanding during study, and reflect after. Then I learn about cognitive load theory. Our brain has limits, so I break big topics into smaller parts to avoid getting overwhelmed. Another big idea is motivation. When I set goals or find some personal meaning in what I learn, stay more focused and interested. Lastly, constructivism helped me understanding what learning is more effective when I relate it to my experiences. I try to connect new knowledge with things I already know. Before taking KMK 2273, I studied by memorizing facts and copying notes. It didn't think much about how I was learning. But after this course, I realized that effective learning needs planning, reflection, and strategy. Now, I ask myself questions while I study, use mind maps to connect ideas, and practice retrieval using quizzes. I've become more confident and in control of my learning. This reflection helped me grow as a student. These strategies I've learned in KMK 2273 will be useful in my future learning. For example, I will keep using metacognitive strategies to plan my tasks and check if I'm understanding the material. When topics are hard, I will avoid overload by dividing the content into smaller sections. I'll also keep using active learning techniques like drawing diagrams, explaining to others, and doing self-tests. These skills will not only help me in university, but also in real life when I need to learn new things or solve problems. In my conclusion, KMK 2273 has truly changed how I view learning. I used to think learning was just about memorizing facts to pass exams. But now I understand that real learning is about making sense of information, applying it in different situations, and continuously improving myself. This course showed me how important it is to be aware of my own thinking and learning process. I know now that strategies like metacognition, reducing cognitive overload, and thinking actively can make learning more effective and meaningful. These lessons are not just useful for university, they're useful for life. Whether I'm preparing for future studies, working on a project, or learning a new skill, I will carry these strategies with me. I feel more confident, independent, and ready to face challenges as a lifelong learner. Learning is no longer just something I do, it's part of who I am. Last but not least, for my infographic in Part B, I chose the topic of metacognition because it truly changed how I learn. I realized that by planning before studying, checking my understanding during, and reflecting after, I could learn much more effectively. This concept had the most personal impact on me, and I wanted to create something that will help me and help others understand and apply it too. That's why I designed my infographic to show how simple questions and small changes can lead to smarter learning. That's all. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye from Safia.